Night in Sydney at a special celebration to mark the most treasured moment in the long history of Australian soccer. Many players from the Socceroos squad, which qualified for the World Cup in 1973, reunited and shared memories of the night in Hong Kong when Australia defeated South Korea to win a right to its one and only appearance. It was 30 years to the exact moment, in fact, when last night's celebrations began. Although the hairs have become greyer on some squad members, their contribution to the game remains brighter than ever. The coach of the team, Rale Rasic, led the tributes, while special mention was paid to the late Jim Mackay, the man who scored Australia's winning goal in that 1-0 victory. And the score, Johnny Warren now rejoins me. John,
Les, good afternoon.
Good to see you. We had a terrific night on Thursday for the 74 Socceroos. A great night for nostalgia. And a lot of information exchanging as well.
There was, Les, and I think that team or players of that era were the pioneers, if you like, of the modern era on the field, and I think that they're now being it off the field as well in creating some sort of tradition, and which we lack completely, some sort of acknowledgement of the history of the game, and the game didn't start, and the Socceroos didn't start in '74. They did exist before and they did exist afterwards. But I think the '74, the night was a fabulous night for everyone, and it was, again, I believe, the start of let's do something to create a tradition and a culture for our game in the country.
And most of them were there, a couple, 2 or 3 players were missing, but of course, as you can see on the vision, there's Ray Bartz and
Bobby Hogg,
whose hair is whiter than mine.
Dr. Brian Corrigan, father of sports medicine in the country and soccer, and of course the big night for Rale. It was Rale's night in many respects, sure, for the team, but Rale was the coach. He took and he put a lot of work and a lot of effort into the function, and quite rightly acknowledged as being the star of the night, if we can put it that way.
But it was refreshing to see, John, how many people not from that era, not of that generation, and who had no other link with the team except what they read in the books about it, were there. The place was packed out by those people.
It was, and again, there's a real need, Les. I mean, when we all go to the big football field in the sky, we are going to leave so much memorabilia and so many things around. You will be the same. And part of our New South Wales task force, we did recommend that there should be a library and a museum for football we were talking on in New South Wales, but it should be Australia-wide. And it should be because it's somewhere for us all to leave our things, and it's somewhere where people can go and read about the whole history of the game. It was very interesting on the night that we had so many former Socceroos captains there. Bobby Bignell, 81 years of age, our Olympic Games captain in '56. Bobby was there. We had right through the Charlie Yankos, Alex Tobin era. Sadly, 2 were missing, Joe Marsden and Paul Wade, and our best wishes to both are not in 100% health at the moment, and we wish them well that they were there. But again, it's creating some tradition for the game. And we talk about it, we complain about it, let's do something about it. Ray Bartz and Charlie Yankos want to start a Socceroo club. In other words, that when there's a big game in Sydney, or once a year at least, that the Socceroos of all eras get together to create some sort of tradition and history.
Absolutely, a tradition with it. Now, the high point of the evening, John, was the individual trophies that were handed out by Rale Rasic to each of the players in that '74 squad. Show us.
If I can lift it.
Yeah, it's a heavy thing.
That's of course the World Cup, a very heavy, beautiful trophy, and from all the memorabilia of '74, this would stand out as by far the best and by far the most rewarding to us, if you like. So for those responsible, on behalf of all the players, it was a terrific gesture.
And Rale went to all the trouble of getting those designed and done and moulded from the original trophy. So it's a fantastic thing. It was a pity we couldn't find any, or the organisers couldn't find any vision of the Jimmy Mackay goal. I should point out to the viewers that the evening began at precisely 8 p.m. On Thursday night, and 8 p.m. was precisely 30 years to the minute that Jimmy Mackay scored that goal against South Korea in Hong Kong.
And that was the sad thing about the night too, that it was the guy who kicked Australia in. Of course, Jimmy passed away 4 or 5 years ago, but his son Malcolm was there. He'd flown in from New Zealand, and the net proceeds of the night went to the Victor Chang Foundation, which
That's right.
There was a lot of money raised for the auction, and of course a lot of expense to put a function on like that. But
Great.
But again, it's putting that sort of function's putting our game into the public arena, and it was terrific that it
making them aware of it.
Yeah.
Let's move on quickly to other things, John. To another, and one man who was never going to miss last week's 30-year Socceroo reunion in Sydney, even though he lives on the other side of the world. His name is Andre Krueger, the 43-year-old German who adopted Australia as his team to follow back at the 1974 World Cup finals in Germany, has dedicated the best part of 3 decades to the green and gold. Carl Patterson takes up the story.
Meet Andre Krueger from Hannover in Germany, who might just be the most fanatical Socceroo fan around.
I was 14 years old, and this was my first shirt. I told all my friends in Hannover to do the same, so we had a complete Australian team in our street, and I had the number 3, as you see, Peter Wilson. I was also the captain, and I can tell you for the first time that Australia won many times the World Cup in soccer, just in the streets of Hannover, but...
Fascinated by koalas and kangaroos as a child, Krueger was spellbound when the Socceroos arrived in Germany for the 1974 World Cup finals. To this day, the 43-year-old property manager is hooked.
They call me sometimes the crazy Krueger, but it's in Germany. No one is laughing about this because it's a passion, and I spent so much time all of my life with this. So I'm now 43 years old, and I think I spent 20 years with Australian soccer. So
he runs a website devoted to the Socceroos, has compiled a book of stats on every Socceroo match, and even glorified his heroes in art.
I paint every Socceroo from the World Cup 1974 by hand drawing and put it on the computer.
Krueger paid his own way to be in Sydney for a 30-year anniversary of the Socceroos World Cup qualification. A gala dinner was held on November the 15th, the famous date in 1973 that Australia beat South Korea 1-0 in Hong Kong to clinch a place at the West Germany 74 World Cup finals.
You have special individuals. Andre is a special one, really. I mean, he's unique. What he has done, he's eye-opener for our marketing. He's eye-opener for facts and figures being German.
Yeah.
He had to be right.
Yeah.
And I think it's remarkable what he has done, and that's a great example which direction sport should be heading, really, if you have pride and honor.
In tribute to his heroes, Krueger commissioned a Belgian company to make exact replicas of the Socceroo shirts worn in the World Cup qualifiers and the finals. His dedication to the cause knows no bounds.
Well, to be honest, I believe I feel a little bit honoured and a little bit of a bit ashamed that it's taken a young lad of 14 on the other side of the world to show such dedication to players that he's never met before until about 20 odd years later. To do what he's done for the 74 team is absolutely unbelievable.
But Krueger's obsession may bring the ultimate reward. Hannover will host games in the 2006 World Cup finals. Andre Krueger is dreaming of the day his beloved Socceroos come to his hometown.